3 mistakes every meeting planner makes that you can avoid. My name's Brad Montgomery, and as a business speaker, I've attended and been part of thousands of meetings. And I have seen so many meetings done well, and I've seen an equal number done poorly, and so I've got 3 tips for you about making your meeting epic. One of the first things we got to remember is that you need to come from a place of creating value for every attendee. That means the newbies, the people who have been there for 5 years, and the people who have been there for 30 years. Everybody needs to feel like, that was the best meeting ever. And more importantly, they need to think that I got such value from my attendance at that meeting, I can't afford to miss next year's meeting. If your numbers are stagnant, or if your numbers are decreasing, that's a hint that you're not delivering enough value for your attendees. The first tip is to throw out last year's template. So many of my meeting planners create a template once, and then each year they just find new variables to put into last year's template. They put the keynote here, the opening session there, they thank the board here, they thank the president there, and it's been the same. And sometimes I'm horrified to tell you that the template they are using is 20 years old. They're doing it this year because they've been doing it the same way for 20 years. That's a mistake. Start fresh. Throw out last year's template and think to yourself, if I were to start fresh, what would the format be to create the most value for every single attendee? The second mistake I see my meeting planners make is to put too much pomp and circumstance in the opening session. The question you should be asking yourself is, how can I deliver value and energy and fun starting at minute number 1 in a way that makes everybody in the audience feel like, I'm glad I wasn't late and I'm so glad I'm here. And when you approach it that way, it makes you realize that the first thing you do in the first session should not be thanking the board, having the president speak for a long time, having the past president speak for a long time, giving out the scholarships, showing slides of recently deceased members of the association. Those are all important things, and I've got great ideas about where and how to do those things, but those do not fit into the format of how are we going to deliver value fast. The third mistake I've seen my meeting planners make is not thinking interactive enough. Interactivity is crucial. The old school way of doing things is you put a bunch of data on stage, a bunch of content, that usually needs a talking head, and then you have an audience in hard chairs in a dark room and you hope that they can sit there for 3 days and actually learn. Well, it doesn't work that well. I want you to think about networking. Your people are craving connectivity and networking, and that means you're going to have to create time in your meetings to not just enable them to network with each other, but you want to be able to help facilitate them in their networking. The second way to be interactive is to help your people make sense of all the information you've given them. They have now, because of you in your meeting, tons of new ideas and data. What you need to do is help them through facilitated sessions is to help make sense of all of that data. You need them to be talking to each other about, what do you think that's important, and how are you going to connect this to this? Those are crucial portions of your meeting. And the final thing with interactivity is for you to schedule and make time for and invest in implementation. We've all been to meetings where we get a bunch of great ideas and we get back to work and implement exactly nothing. And in order for you to create the most valuable epic meeting ever, you need to make sure your people implement awesome ideas. So at the end of your session, you need to invest time in giving them a facilitated interactive session where they leave with what exactly they're going to do differently based on this meeting. What changes are they going to make? In what order and priority are they going to make them? And sometimes, how are they going to be accountable for those changes? And maybe there's people in the room who can help with that. My name's Brad Montgomery. For more information or more ideas about how to avoid mistakes for your conference, give us a call. We'd be thrilled to talk to you about making your event epic.